Hey everybody, it's your old pal Brian Hunt, and welcome to another episode of 60 Seconds to Risk. And once again, we're back out here at Juno's Liquors, talking to Mr. Steven Paul. Good to see you again, sir.
Good to see you again, Brian.
So this is our 10th time to come out here. We come out and see Steven Paul and talk about his operations at Juno's and what he's been doing for almost a year, two and a half years now, it seems like, right? You started off with a distressed asset in Arlington, and as at the time you've expanded to now being 2 stores.
Correct.
Arlington and Las Colinas. So why don't we talk real quick about overarching financials from where it was and where you are now? How are things looking?
Sure. So top line number wise, in 2022 when we bought the Arlington store, that store for 2022 did a little over $200,000 in revenue that year.
Great.
To contrast that to now, here we are in Q1 of 2025, and we are almost going to hit that for Q1 between the 2 stores.
That's fantastic. Wow.
So huge top line growth. We're still fine tuning things and trying to,
Sure.
of course, there's a lot of expense with doing a build out like this.
Yeah.
So we're not quite there at the net positive level that we would like to be.
Yeah.
But as we scale, we're hoping that the improved margins will help us with that.
Fantastic. So now now we've got some exciting news now. So tell us about what's going to happen or is going on right now behind the scenes.
Absolutely. So for the last quarter, we have been working diligently to try to get store 3 in place. And on Monday, we are signing that lease to open store 3 in Keller.
That's fantastic. So with going to another store in Keller,
Yes.
you have a second store in the same Tarrant County, correct?
Correct. So now Arlington and Keller, because they're both in Tarrant County, if something is a slow mover at Keller, we might try it at Arlington to see if it does better there,
Right.
and vice versa. It'll also help where we won't have, if we're running out of something at one or the other store, but we're well stocked at the other store, now we don't have to buy that inventory, we can transfer it so that we can get our money and increase our inventory turns. And that should really help with increasing profitability too.
Fantastic.
Because right now we have a lot of duplicate inventory just because
Yeah.
this store is in Dallas County and Arlington is in Tarrant County.
As it typically is. So, you've been putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and hours into this for 2.5 years, probably, right?
Yes.
So, obviously you've been scaling up and you've been getting staff on board. So talk about what you've been doing to try to get people in place to sort of take some of the stuff off your shelf so you can do other things.
Yeah, human resources is always a challenge,
Yeah.
finding the right people, and then sometimes you'll hire someone for one role and that's not really where their strengths are, and you have to move them into another role.
Okay.
Where hopefully they'll be more successful and can leverage the talents that they innately have better.
Fair.
So I personally don't believe there are bad hires. I think they're in the bad, we hired them for the wrong position, and it's our job as leaders to get them into the right position.
Correct, I agree.
Sometimes there's a lot of challenges that occur with that. We have been very blessed with a young lady who joined us. You may see her mulling around in the background. And it's like that we actually we hired as a sales associate in December when we were ramping up Las Colinas. By the end of December, she had gone well beyond expectations, and we promoted her to store manager, and she's exceeded in that role for the Q1. And so at the end of Q1, we are promoting her to a general manager to handle personnel issues, scheduling, inventory, all the day-to-day operations in the store, so that I can get outside of the store and start working on the business and not in the business.
Fantastic. So you're getting the right people in the right spot so you can focus on the bigger picture of marketing, sales, strategy.
Getting, making sure the financials are all dialed in so that if a prospective investor wants to have a conversation, it's like we're not, let me get to my CPA and get these to you next month. It's like you got to have that real-time data, because you have to strike when the iron's hot, and that's whether you're selling to a bar and restaurant or, we just picked up a nice wholesale customer the other day because their existing distributors were holding back on them on some items, and I just called our distributor right in front of the customer. I'm like, hey, what's the deal with this XYZ tequila? And they're like, no, it's not on restriction, you can order it. And I'm like, you heard that, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'll get you the paperwork on Monday. I'm like, cool. And so, you know, having that high touch with our wholesale on-premise customers versus them just having to call an 800 number or deal with a sales rep that's chasing his commissions and not looking out for his customer.
And to go back to our prior conversation, early on you established and got software that was going to be scalable.
Correct.
So then obviously you're going to have the third store using the same software that's going to help you manage cash flow and inventory. And
exactly. And the great thing about it is like now we've got it all synced up so that we're using Las Colinas as the master store. So anytime we add a product here at Las Colinas or we can make changes here at Las Colinas, those get pushed out company-wide, so we're not having to go to every terminal and say, okay, well, we had a price increase on Prisoner.
Sure.
Okay, we do that here when we receive it, and now that goes out to the entire system, so now the other stores don't have to worry about that manual operation.
Awesome.
That's going to help, and especially with the 2 stores in Tarrant County now, they'll be able to look at each other's inventory, and it's like, oh, I've only got 1 of these, but they have 8 of them. Hey, can you transfer me 3?
Yeah, awesome. So as we wrap up, I want to talk about something that permeates, and we have a lot of talking in the news these days, financial news, tariffs. Is what's going to impact us. And so obviously people out there realize lots of beer, wine, alcohol, liquor is imported from other parts of the country or the world. And as an example, we have here tequila, which is imported from Mexico. So as you and I were chatting, if the importer here in the United States is going to import this tequila from Mexico, they're going to be charged 25%.
Correct.
Not the country's paying the tax.
Yeah, that's not how tariffs
That's how it works. The importer here in the United States, the company in the United States is going to be paying 25% more for this product. And then the importer is going to be selling it to the distributors.
Correct.
And the importer's got that 25% on top of it. He's just got it. So he's going to try to pass it on to the distributor. Distributor's going to then take that cost and absorb it, try to maintain his margins, and then try to pass it on to you. Correct. So you have the option either to eat the 25%, which would impact your margins.
It would put us into a negative gross profit.
Negative gross profit. So then that would also have to make you increase your sales price to cover for the cost of the tariffs.
Correct.
Which therefore makes an issue where whether or not people here in the United States, maybe you don't want to buy this tequila anymore because now it's getting too expensive. And so there's a trade-off as far as you're making it an item less attractive to your customer.
And that's just if it's from Mexico or Canada, right?
France,
it's like
whatever.
A while back, it's like a proposal of a 200% tariff on anything from European Union countries was floated out there in the ether. And so it is definitely a stressful time to be a package store owner in the United States, let alone Texas.
Amen to that. Well, Steve, it's great to see you again. It's fantastic to see your growth and your success. Look forward to coming out here next quarter. Maybe we'll be in Keller at the next store.
There we go.
And really appreciate your feedback. I think a lot of people have really benefited from hearing what your stories are about entrepreneurship and asset acquisition and turning things around.
It is not an endeavor for the weak.
That's a good way to put it. So, like all things, guys, hope you found this conversation beneficial. If there's a certain topic or individual you'd like to see, please post a note on LinkedIn. You can subscribe to this video and all the other videos we've done with Steven Paul on my YouTube channel. You can find these videos also on the website formerly known as Twitter, Substack, Blue Sky, and Facebook. Until next time, guys. Bye.